Hello and welcome to House News. In this episode, we will present to you the latest information coming from the House of Representatives of the Republic of Indonesia. Before we get started, here are some news headlines for today. Driven by the vision of being empowered, impactful, and influential, BKSAP of the House is optimistic about making more progress and building strategic partnerships. Indonesia has officially become a new BRICS partner, announced at the recent BRICS summit in Kazan, Russia. These memberships reflect a commitment to an independent foreign policy. With a solid 5-year plan and a strong diplomatic partnership, BKSAP of the House believes it can enhance Indonesia's position and influence the international forum. Commission 5 of the House held its first work meeting with all work partners. As changes in nomenclature occurred, it was necessary to clarify the tasks for each institution. Indonesia recently celebrated its National Heroes Day, a perfect opportunity to reflect on the nation's rich history and the heroes who fought for its independence. BKSAP of the House held a discussion to develop its strategic plan for the next 5 years. They emphasized their commitment to be at the forefront of parliamentary diplomacy, focusing on strengthening relationship with other countries.
Chairpersons of the Committee for Interparliamentary Cooperations or BKSAP of the House, Mardani Alisera, emphasized the committee should play a strategic role in facilitating interparliamentary dialogues and strengthening partnership with friendly countries. Mardani hopes parliamentary diplomacy will be impactful and influential as it is an important part of Indonesia's foreign political strength. He believes by actively engaging in global peace issues, parliamentary diplomacy can help promote stability and improve Indonesia's positions in the international stage.
Muncul isu tentang AI, tentang climate change, tentang ekonomi, tentang bagaimana Indonesia menjadi kekuatan baru, tentang bagaimana kita punya kepedulian kepada Palestina, kepada perdamaian dunia. Semua isu kita akan petakan dan tentu kita ingin berharap efektifnya BKSAP ini kan second track diplomasi tahap kedua. Kita masih harus mematangkan renstra kita dengan renstranya eksekutif Kemenlu dalam hal ini. Dalam waktu yang akan datang kita akan coba blended sehingga frekuensi kita dengan frekuensi teman-teman di eksekutif sama yang dengannya betul-betul bisa mendukung asta cita yang digaungkan Presiden Prabowo.
Moreover, Mardani adds, BKSAP of the House will continue promoting national interests within the global political agenda by integrating legislative participations in the global discussions. From Tangerang, Samuel Aditya, TVR Parliament reports.
BKSAP of the House considers Indonesia's potential membership in BRICS as a way to strengthen relationship with other developing nations. Joining BRICS would boost cooperations and provide opportunities to engage in various international forums.
During focus group discussions on prioritizing key issues in parliamentary diplomacy, member of BKSAP of the House Amelia Anggraini highlighted Indonesia's participation in BRICS reflects the country's commitment to an independent and active foreign policy. This means Indonesia will engage with various international partners without aligning itself with any specific bloc or taking sides in global world. Joining BRICS opens opportunities for technology transfer, innovations, foreign investment, economic markets, and geopolitical strategy. Furthermore, Indonesia will also gain more access to non-traditional markets in Brazil, Russia, and South Africa, giving wider opportunities for increasing the economy and trade.
Terkait dengan BRIC, ini adalah salah satu langkah strategis yang telah di-approach oleh pemerintah, khususnya Kementerian Luar Negeri, yang sesuai dengan kebijakan politik luar negeri kita yang bebas dan aktif. Jadi kita juga secara mandiri dan secara berdaulat dapat menentukan kemana arah politik kita sesuai dengan yang tercantum juga di dalam Undang-Undang Dasar kita, ya, jadi non-blok dan bebas aktif. BRIC ini adalah salah satu upaya kita, ya, memperluas atau menambah kerjasama dengan negara-negara berkembang khususnya untuk meningkatkan tentu saja ekonomi, kemudian juga perdagangan, investasi.
Additionally, Amelia reminded Indonesia should remain neutral within the BRICS alliance to avoid getting involved in global geopolitical tensions. From Tangerang, Samuel Aditya, TVA Parlemen reports.
In the focus group discussion, Team Building Diplomatic Harmony for Global Stability and Peace, BKSAP of the House emphasized its commitment to promoting global stability by supporting education in Palestine as a way to achieve world peace.
Member of BKSAP of the House Melly Guslo mentions BKSAP of the House will enhance its international diplomacy efforts in interparliamentary forums. A key focus of this effort is to promote digital education innovations for Palestinian children. As the ongoing conflict in Palestine, traditional in-person learning is not possible, which makes digital or online education necessary.
Karena sekarang udah ada inovasi digital, jadi peluang untuk kerjasama antar negara itu semakin luas karena tidak harus kontak fisik, tidak harus bertemu fisik, tidak harus orangnya ke sana. Ini terkait dengan Palestina karena kan memang untuk keluar dari Palestina itu susah banget. Tapi mungkin Bapak Presiden Prabowo bisa mengupayakan tetap adanya hubungan antara Indonesia dan Palestina, terutama di bidang pendidikan. Jadi seperti tadi yang aku bilang, inovasi-inovasi digital ini bisa sangat memungkinkan kita melakukan kerjasama pendidikan.
BKSAP of the House has consistently voiced strong support for Palestinian independence and condemned Israel violations on international law. Melly urged BKSAP of the House to gather support from international Muslim parliaments for Palestine requests to gain full memberships in the United Nations. From Tangerang, Samuel Aditya, TVA Parlemen reports.
After the break, we will bring you more updates on Commission 5 of the House, only on House News. Commission 5 of the House urges stronger collaborations among ministry and agency. This synergy will help ensure budget and programs that are effectively carried out with the focus on improving community welfare.
Chairpersons of Commission 5 of the House Lazarus highlighted the importance of collaborations among ministries and agencies. He pointed out this is important during the new government period as several ministries have been restructured, including the Ministry of Public Works, the Ministry of Housing and Settlement Areas, the Ministry of Villages and Underdeveloped Region Development, and the Ministry of Transmigrations. During the meeting, representatives from the newly restructured ministries and agencies outlined their specific duties and organizational structures. This initial meeting is intended to encourage better teamwork among the ministries, in addition to helping them work together more effectively to implement the works programs.
Perlu perkenalan dulu kita untuk mungkin saling tahu dulu ya, karena nomenklatur juga berubah. Ya, dari struktur organisasi kerja dari kementerian itu juga ada perubahan dan bahkan katanya tadi belum disetujui oleh Presiden. Jadi kita tunggu ya, mudah-mudahan di raker besok sudah ada, tapi gambaran umum dulu kita dapatkan ya. Kami akan bekerja dengan struktur dulu yang sudah diajukan, tentu karena struktur organisasinya belum disahkan oleh Presiden, pasti pejabat yang mengisinya juga pasti belum ada ya. Jadi kita masih dengan jajarannya dulu lah. Karena kita berkejaran dengan waktu, kami menjelang pilkada ini harus pintar membagi waktu nih.
Furthermore, Lazarus emphasized the role of the Ministry of Villages and Underdeveloped Regions in developing village-owned enterprises or BUMD. He stated BUMD should focus on creating a network of mini-markets to enhancing the economic welfare of the local community. Rifki Endivo, TVR Parliament Report.
The leadership of the House encourages Commission 11 to work closely with partner ministries and agencies. This collaboration aims to support the government in achieving its economic and financial objectives.
Vice Speaker for Economic and Financial Affairs who oversees economic and financial coordinations, Adis Kadir mentions he supports Commission 11 in fulfilling its duties to adapt to new partner agencies and any changes in the nomenclature of ministries and agencies within the Red and White Cabinet. The leadership of the House expects Commission 11 to achieve the 8% economic growth target set by President Prabowo.
Existing yang lama masih tetap, tapi nanti kita akan lihat manakala mungkin akan ditambahkan yang terkait dengan tupoksi dari Komisi 11, ya kemungkinan besar kita bisa masukkan di sana. Paling tidak kan concernnya di bidang ekonomi, menjaga pertumbuhan ekonomi negara kita, ya kalau perlu sesuai dengan target daripada Pak Presiden, gitu kan, di atas berapa? 8%, sampai 8%.
Meanwhile, Chairperson of Commission 11, Ms. Bakun, stated his team is ready to work with the Commission partners. They will adjust their coordination and responsibilities if new partner agencies are added. He is committed to ensuring the state budget is managed effectively. His commitment has aligned with the government's work program.
Kementerian Keuangan itu adalah penyusun APBN, dan dia yang ruling APBN, yang menjalankan APBN, menurut saya itu sangat strategis apa yang dilakukan oleh Presiden. Dan itu menurut saya meningkatkan koordinasi dan efisiensi di pemerintah.
Ratna N. Handoko, TVR Parliament Report.
Commission 13 of the House held a consultation meeting with the Vice Speaker for Economic and Financial Affairs to discuss legislative priorities for the upcoming year. They plan to draft a list of priority legislation and will conduct meeting with various ministries and agencies.
Chairperson of Commission 13 of the House, Willy Aditya, pointed out human rights are connected to economic well-being. He said fulfilling human rights involves social, economic, and cultural aspects. To support this right, it's important to provide free, nutritious food, create job opportunities, and ensure that people have access to good education.
Kalau tantangan HAM di kita adalah ekosok ya, bukan lagi sipol ya. Ekosok itu bagaimana apa yang ditandaskan Pak Prabowo, makan bergizi, tentu stunting. Habis itu lapangan pekerjaan, itu yang menjadi tantangan hak kita. Perumahan, kita harus lihat bagaimana ketimpangan perumahan satu dan lain. Tapi yang paling fundamental adalah lapangan pekerjaan. Itu tantangan hak asasi manusia di kita. Jadi lebih kepada ekonomi sosial dan budaya sih. Kalau kami mencermati sejauh ini, jadi bukan lagi heavy politik. Kita sudah bergeser kepada heavy-nya itu ekosok.
Commission 13 is currently waiting for legislative proposals from the government. Among these proposals are draft laws related to the Pancasila Ideology Development Agency and Asset Confiscation Bill. Dodi N. Handoko, TVR Parliament Report.
We still have more interesting information. After the break, stay tuned to House News. Visiting remarkable museums will not only educate you, but also fill you with gratitude for the sacrifices made by the heroes. Each museum tells you a unique story and showcases a heritage of Indonesia.
These museums are not just places to visit. They are gateways to understanding Indonesia's past and the heroes who shaped its future. Let's honor the memory of our national heroes by exploring these educational and inspiring museums. A Joang 45 museum visit is perfect for visitors who like to learn more about Indonesian history and the country's struggle for independence. Inside, you will see a collections of war relics, photographs, and other things that are connected to the Indonesian independence movement and struggle. Joang 45 Museum is located in Menteng Central, Jakarta. This museum is situated in a colonial building that was once used as a hotel for Dutch high officials and then later as a boarding house and an education center for Indonesian youth to learn more about nationalism. Fort Vredenburg, located in Yogyakarta, is a silent witness to the history of struggle and changes experienced by Indonesia over the centuries. The fort was built when the Dutch proposed to the Sultan to be allowed to build a fort near the palace. The constructions of the fort was only an excuse to make it easier for the Dutch to control all developments that occurred in the palace. This place is now a meaningful museum. There you can see various original historical items that remain well preserved. For example, the bat used by General Sudirman and documents related to the struggle for independence. Museum Konferensi Asia Afrika is a remarkable tribute to the historic 1955 Asia-Africa Conference held in Bandung, which brought together newly independent African and Asian states in a landmark event. Located on Asia Africa Street, this museum takes visitors on an immersive journey back in time, displaying a captivating collection of artifacts, photographs, and documents from the conference. The museum provides an enriching experience for those seeking to understand the historical significance of this momentous event.
The Ministry of Social Affairs has introduced a new logo to commemorate National Heroes Day celebrated on November 10, 2024. This logo honors the sacrifices made by Indonesia's heroes and represents the spirit of heroism.
At the center of the logo is the silhouette of a fighter representing determination and bravery. This powerful image inspires us to reflect on the resilience displayed by our heroes during challenging times. It reminds us that we can represent this same spirit in our own lives as we acknowledge their contributions. The logo also features intersecting circular lines that symbolize the interconnected path of sacrifice and service. This design emphasizes the importance of prioritizing the nation's needs above personal interest. Additionally, the facing mirrors included in the logo encourage self-reflections and growth. They remind us that our heroes serve as role models for how we can learn from the past and apply those lessons on our daily lives. Finally, the logo incorporates a shield symbolizing courage and the protections of Indonesia's integrity. The silhouette of Hotel Yamato, or now is called as Majapahit Hotel, connects the logo to a significant historical moment, enriching its overall meaning. As we approach National Heroes Day 2024, let us embrace this logo as a powerful reminder of the values of heroism, unity, and sacrifice that are essential to our national identity.
UNESCO has officially designated the birthday of two Indonesian heroes as international celebrations. These heroes are Kumala Hayati, a courageous female warrior from Aceh, and Aa Nafis, a respected writer in Indonesian literature.
The announcement was made by the Director General of UNESCO during the closing sessions of the 42nd UNESCO General Conference in Paris, France. The designations of these notable figures is based on three main criteria. First, the year of birth or death of the individual must relate to the ideals and missions of UNESCO, especially in education, culture, natural sciences, social sciences, and humanities. The second criterion focuses on communications and considers gender representations. The third criterion requires the event to have a universal significance. Proposals needs to be supported by at least 2 countries and should demonstrate a significant impact on either the nations or the global community. Kamala Hayati is celebrated as one of Indonesia's heroic female figures. She is honored as a national hero due to her bravery, leadership, and commitment to defending her homeland. Kamala Hayati, the daughter of Admiral Mahmud Shah, was introduced to naval warfare at a young age, preparing her for future role as a leader. When her father passed away, Sultan Alauddin Riayat Shah of Aceh appointed Kamala Hayati as the new admiral. This appointment made her the first female admiral in the history of Indonesia and Southeast Asia. The proposal received support from several countries including Malaysia, the Russian Federations, Thailand, and Togo. Aan Naves, also known as Ali Akbar Naves, is a prominent Indonesian writer and cultural figure. He produced a huge range of literary works and mentored many other writers throughout his life. Naves' love for literature was nurtured by his father, who encouraged his reading habits. This foundation helped him build a successful writing career, leading to recognition in his 30s. He is best known for his short stories, play scripts, and essays, focusing on the strength of foreign narratives while criticizing Indonesian literature. In recognition of his achievements, the proposal received support from countries like Malaysia, the Russian Federations, Thailand, and Togo.
And that's House News for today. Thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you on the next episode. Bye-bye.